can't start throwing circumstances and pandemics as the one thing to back it all up, because other fucking circumstances exist. In reality, they do. Really, there's an argument to say we should have done more to punish Lee 3 years ago when Beaumont. We shouldn't have let Beaumont just jump back into the sport so easily after he cancelled all these players' contracts and they weren't able to put full 17s out week on week on week for the end of the season. That's a different conversation. But
there's a little delicious.
But they still played those games with 15 players, 14 players. They still played them.
They played them with lone players and on a wing and a prayer and other clubs rallying round. That's the only reason that they played those matches. And there's, as I say, there's a delicious irony that they're the two clubs that have been the most mouthy about it when they were on the bones of their asses, 3 years ago.
Yeah. So I totally respect what Nicholas is saying, but I think there's a bit of a naivety and stuff there as well. And I still feel sorry for your club and your fans.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, we all. I genuinely don't think there's a single rugby league fan who doesn't look at the fan experience at Toronto and go, "That's a fantastic experience." Even if half of them are cardboard cutouts, that's still a fantastic experience. And they kind of want that for their own team, even though they might not physically say that. They're embarrassed that only 1,000 of their own fans turn up. But and we do. Absolutely, I think everybody feels for the fans ultimately, but there has to be a reasonable way through it that enables those fans to still have a team to support. Frankly, I think we can find it.
I hope so. I really genuinely hope so. Was there anything on your list that we haven't ticked off yet in terms of the points you wanted to make, or shall we let Toronto lie for a while? Let's firmly settle.
Let's leap in Wolves' lie for a bit, shall we?
Excellent stuff. Right, we're going to get into the news then. News then, this week in coronavirus. Probably the last time we'll do this separate, because it starts to feel more like normal once we've got the real games next week. But lots of big stuff was happening this week, and it started on the 21st of July, last Tuesday. Featherstone issued a statement accusing the sport of letting down its supporters, sponsors and partners following the cancellation of the championship season. The club has expressed its extreme disappointment following the decision announced last Monday by the RFL board, adding that the club is far from satisfied with the reasoning behind the decision. The statement suggests that the leading clubs in the competition have become victims of their own ambition, while accusing others of lacking desire to play again. It repeats accusations that the RFL has misled the clubs around the cost of coronavirus testing and says that they stand to lose in excess of £1.3 million due to the removal of matchday income. The statement closes by questioning the logic behind staging of separate autumn competition following the cancellation of the championship season. So much to unpack from Featherstone in this, so much to sort of question, isn't there? And it's I know we're already a long way into this show, and which is why we're not going to do deep dives into Toronto again after this. But I mean, what the fuck are they on about? In simple terms, because they managed to find a local car park that was willing to do some testing for them. Every other club had that, and that would have met the government standards that are in place, would it? And all of those things. Or was it just decided in a pub beer garden that would be a possibility? Because that's kind of how I feel Campbell does his business. Saying that they're going to lose matchday income, but then saying they don't want to do matches behind closed door. Not matches, but matches in the end of the season championship competition, because that seems illogical. Well, you can't not have matches and criticise the RFL for that, and then criticise them for trying to give you matches. And also, how do you think fit in 22 games remaining or 21 games, whatever it was, from a championship season into a few months before all the contracts expire is possible for part-time clubs in your division that you're in, Featherstone, because I don't see how you can get around all that. It just didn't seem logistically possible. Whereas the RFL are proposing a new competition that'll be, 9 or 10 weeks, seems a lot more doable, a lot more manageable. So actually, seems way more logical than restarting the season. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, but it feels like Featherstone are in the minority from that point of view, I would say, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I suppose.
Well, another club that's in the minority we'll get to us. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, it seems like that. It seems like not every club feels like Featherstone. Let's put it that way.
No. 4020 News reported as well on the 21st of July that Halifax coach Simon Griss admitted to feeling some happiness about the decision finally being reached on this year's Championship and League One campaigns, while expressing his disappointment at the call to cancel the remainder of the fixtures. Kind of relief that they know what's happening, I think, was the theme there. But we'll talk more Halifax later on.
Yep. So on the 22nd, the Hunslet chairman Kenny Sykes issued a statement on the club's stance of the cancellation of the Championship and League One seasons, stating that they welcome the decision and think it's the right thing to do given the potential financial impact, although noting the outcome is hugely disappointing for everyone connected with the sport. He also noted they will only be taking part in the proposed end-of-season Invitational Cup competition if it's financially viable to do so. That's the most obvious statement of the day.
Yeah. On the 23rd of July, Catalans announced that their upcoming Super League game scheduled for August will be shown live on French TV. Broadcaster L'Equipe has entered into a partnership with the Dragons that will see their games against St Helens, Castleford, Salford and Wigan picked up through Sky Sports coverage. So that's a positive, given that they didn't have a broadcast deal at the start of the year. And hopefully they can use those 4 games to attract enough of an audience to continue that for the rest of the season and beyond. Also alongside that day, the RFL joined other sports in asking the government to extend the VAT cut to admission to include sporting events. On the 8th of July, the government announced a temporary reduction in the VAT rate for admission to events and attractions, including theatres, concerts, museums and amusement parks. I just feel like the final one in particular is just a coronavirus eruption waiting to happen. But the reduction from 20% to 5% will be in effect from the 15th of July to the 12th of January. The RFL says that extending the reductions to include sports matches would achieve considerable benefits, including stimulating sales, attracting more people, boosting women's sport, whilst also providing a shot in the arm to events and hospitality industries. We just need to call every match a theatre performance and jobs are good one. Well, sport is entertainment for a lot of people, so there's a logic in extending it out. I'm going to put my personal view about taxation on the table here, in that whilst I'm definitely not the biggest fan of VAT as a good source of taxation, because it's not exactly progressive, I still think taxation is important in doing lots of stuff in this country, and what we're effectively doing is reducing the public purse to strengthen the private purse in a way. But at the same time, I can understand the benefits from this, because all that 15% cut won't be taken off the ticket admission prices, just so everyone knows. There'll be some offers, but it will mean more of the money is retained for the clubs, which is good for the clubs, good for the sport as a result of it being good for the clubs. But my unpopular opinion is that I like taxation as long as I can trust the government to use it appropriately, i.e. to redistribute wealth and work on social initiatives to make our country better, rather than lining the pockets of private individuals with strange third-party outsourcing contracts. I don't know. We try not to get too political.
I was going to say before this section,
but I had to do it there. I'm sorry. It frustrates me that we always, think to cut tax.
Yeah, but before this section started, we definitely said we're not going to get into the long grass and talk about these things for a long time. But anyway, yes, progressive taxation a theoretical lecture by Mark Illingworth.
At least it maybe mean the clubs have more money to pay the players more, and that means that those players will be paying their higher rate of tax sooner. So that's a positive.
Maybe.
Featherstone issued another statement as well that day, asking the RFL for clarity on their 6th round clash with Wakefield in the Challenge Cup. The club believes that the decision to cancel the championship season has made their ability to participate in the tie almost impossible due to concerns around player welfare and the competition being somewhat compromised. The statement says the club is yet to return to training, while noting that opponents Wakefield will have played 2 league fixtures before the two sides meet. Sensible stuff there around player welfare from Featherstone, and ultimately played a big role in what we're going to talk about in a few minutes' time.
Yes.
The Challenge Cup being redrawn. So
on the 24th, Super League reported no cases of coronavirus from the first round of testing of players and staff. After securing revised pay deals with personnel, clubs returned to training this week and have been subject to at least 2 tests under protocols, with 924 tests carried out in total. Match officials are also subject to the testing schedule. No individual cases regarding club or player identity will be revealed if a positive test is discovered. Testing is being carried out by Screen 4, which we talked about last time I was on. And the league says it's meeting current government guidelines for accuracy. Clubs are covering the cost of their testing, and every player or staff entering a training ground must complete a screening protocol to detect coronavirus symptoms. Personnel are also required to complete a daily questionnaire prior to arriving at the training ground. So, good news, no positives. Move on.
Yeah, definitely good news, and good to get a bit more understanding around the protocols as well. And on the same day as well, Toulouse gave a statement, didn't they?
So yeah, Toulouse have issued a statement expressing their regret at the decision to cancel the championship season, but Chairman Bernard Salazar said the club respects the decision and insists that the news will not derail the club's Super League ambitions.
On the 26th of July, Halifax confirmed they've opted out of participating in the end-of-season cup competition proposed by the RFL following the decision to cancel the Championship and League One seasons for 2020. A statement on the club's website gave the following reasons for their decision. It said, "Our players who are part-time, have not played for 4 months, have no suitable training facilities or time to get back up to match fitness. The risk to players picking up injuries, as evidenced in the NRL, is too high for us to consider allowing them to play. Financially, the board has worked very hard alongside its stakeholders to manage its way through this pandemic. The current situation sees the club having a chance to survive 2020 with the help from those stakeholders. However, the prohibitive costs of testing—" what do you mean? You just drive to a car park, mate. "—unfurloughing players, match day costs, playing either behind closed doors or restricted crowd numbers, simply puts all that hard work at risk. The club's longer-term survival and growth is paramount, and the board feel that this has to take priority. Therefore, we will not be entering into this end-of-season competition." They added as well that the club's commercial director, Steve Lambert, will now start contacting the sponsors over the next week or so to start discussions about 2020 reclaim options and 2021 sponsorship opportunities. And likewise, Halifax's season ticket holders will be sent a letter or email within the next week regarding the same topic. So Halifax are done for the year, and they've given some pretty clear reasons why they've been a bit, but why that's the case.
Yeah. Hard to argue with in their set of circumstances. I just think maybe mid-July or end of July is a bit early to make a decision about something from October, but we'll see.
But they've made a decision. I think that's the thing. They can plan for 2021.
Yeah, and that's obviously that's why it's an opt-in thing rather than a requirement. On the 27th, a bit late, but we got there eventually. 4020 News reported that Lee have joined Featherstone in applying to take Toronto's Super League place. Owner Derek Beaumont has confirmed. So the Rovers issued a public statement straight away following the Wolfpack's withdrawal, asking the RFL to consider giving them a club spot at the top level. And Beaumont has confirmed that the club made an official approach to the RFL on the same day, so he says. Neither the RFL nor Super League have commented on the club's applications, with the competition instead set to continue with 11 teams, obviously.
Yeah, Derek returned to Twitter with a bang, did he? I mean,
we said at the time he was furious that Fev got him first.
The